Hey everybody, I've given a lot of thought to doing a video like this. Just basically to roll with like what life gives you. Everyone has a plan to, what they want to do, what kind of mom they want to be, things like that. And sometimes you just have to adjust the plan as things happen. That has absolutely happened with us. Nothing is like I thought it would be in regards to so many things. And I've just had to just kind of readjust my thinking and, go with what, basically live the hand that we were dealt. I said for a long time I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That was always the plan. In 2010, I got laid off from the job I was working at. We got a fairly decent severance package, and a lot of people use the severance package for, vacation or, to buy stuff, whatever. What we did is just put it back into our finances. We paid some stuff off. We paid off almost all of our debt, except for like the house and, vehicles or whatever. So, because that was always the plan, is I would be a stay-at-home mom. I did end up going to school for a little while. I just kind of used that as a backup plan. I thought if we couldn't have kids, I was going to go to school to be a teacher. That would have been, like my next want if I couldn't have kids. I'd always wanted to be a teacher. But after doing that for a little while, it just wasn't, because I had always wanted that, like when I was in high school. That was always my plan. And I went to school for a little bit after that, after high school for that, and things happened. That's a whole other story. But, so I never got my degree, and so I had this big plan to go back, because I just kind of felt like, that's what I should do if I don't have a job. And that's something else I want to say. Don't feel like you need to follow the masses and what everyone does or what everyone doesn't do. Live your life, in a way that makes you happy, in a way that you're proud of what you do. And don't, I think so often in life we compare ourselves to others and think, we should have these things because other people do this. And I just, I've really come to the conclusion that's not the way I want to be, and I have to adjust things, and I'm happier for it. So what that leads me into is, because of Nate's not only medical expenses, but just everything in regards to Nate and what happened, we went through savings, and it's never really bounced back. Even here we are 2 years later, just because other things have happened, and it took me a little while to kind of find out exactly what I'm going to do and get a routine and, see what I can do with what we have. So, I still kind of consider myself a stay-at-home mom because I'm here during the day. He doesn't go to daycare. And I was able to find things that I can work around our schedule, which is one thing I'd really highly recommend to everyone. Just because you don't want to hold like a regular 40-hour, 8 to 5 type job does not mean there are not ways to make money for your family. And it doesn't necessarily have to be traditional ways where you work for someone. You can do a lot of things where you do things by yourself, for yourself. And I really encourage anyone to check into stuff like that. Find out what your interest is and do something that you want to do. Sometimes you have to do things you have to do. I talked a little bit. I had a video where I do the virtual call center work from home. That is like my steady income, I guess I could say. I initially started out working 4 p.m. to 1 a.m., Sunday through Thursday, and it was nice because I still was able to be home with Nate. I worked a full-time job, and it worked for a while. And then when my mom died and then my grandma died 3 weeks later, just emotionally, I was dealing with some depression and things like that, any normal thing a person would go through, and it full-time was just not working for me. I could not. It was a struggle to do anything, and to work that, it wasn't possible. So I just spoke with them about it. They're, oddly enough, very flexible. At that time, I dropped down to 20 hours a week. Can't even remember what hours I worked initially. But I worked because at that time, I'm trying to think how everything happened. Initially, because we were going to get the nurse in at that point, and so I was taking Nate to my dad's, and I was working like, I want to say 2 to 6, I think, Sunday through Thursday. And as I did that, the hours just weren't working. It wasn't fitting my schedule enough, so I moved from 1 to 5, so that, like, my husband would get home, he'd be with Nate for, like, an hour, they'd have their alone time, and then I'd be done. that worked a little bit better. I was still struggling a little bit to work because I would just have days where I was depressed and I didn't want to do anything. And so I really struggled with that. I actually did an leave of absence where I could just, I could work some, I could not work. It was more of a flexible schedule, which I really, really needed, and I'm really grateful that they allowed me to do that. In dealing with all this, that went on for a little while, and I kind of just put out there that I didn't want to do the call center thing anymore, and I just kind of make contacts with people because that's how I got the fire station job. I work as a treasurer / secretary for a volunteer fire department. There's 3 paid positions, and I'm one of them. It's still not a ton of money. It's not great. In January, I am getting hopefully a substantial raise, which will help out a lot. And I really enjoy it. That's what I was going to, it's the financial stuff. It's, working with QuickBooks and their, payroll and stuff like that. And it's something I've always really liked. I always liked financial type things. So that I really enjoy it. And I like it because I work with a bunch of guys that are not very organized. I'm a very organized person, so I feel like it's something that they really need me to be. We recently, and it's just turning into more than I ever thought it would. We just recently went to a conference, which is nice. I've never traveled for work before. I mean, it wasn't traveling very far, but, we stayed in a hotel, and, it was just a lot of great information. A lot of important contacts were made. And, that's the main reason why I'm going to get a raise in January, because we have these huge projects coming up for that. And the thing that I love about that job is, other than meetings that are scheduled, I can pretty much do that at my own pace, and I work from home. I have a laptop from there that I bring home, and I do the majority of my work from there. Right before meetings, I have some work to do at the actual fire station, at the office. And I have to obviously be there for any meetings, and there's one monthly meeting and then any special meetings that come up. But I love that job, and eventually what's going to happen is, the whole thing is I'm an assistant to the person that does the job. He's still not full-time, but more of a full-time basis. And eventually what's going to happen in 5 years, he's going to retire, and I'm going to take over for him completely. What will happen at that time, I don't know. It's more or less up to me. I could just do the job, or I could still do it kind of part-time and have like an assistant which does half the work. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to handle it. But it gives me options in the future, which I really like. The third job that I have, which again, I just, you just kind of put the word out there and you can pick up odd jobs. You really can. I do transcription for a real estate show for the closed captioning. And the other thing I love about my jobs is that they're so different. If I had to, because I have to work, we financially need me to earn something. And it's not a ton of money, but it's enough that helps out, with the extra things with groceries and things like that. And the nice thing is that because they're so different, the only job I really feel like I'm working at is the call center job. And basically what that has turned into is I was actually going to quit that job because it had steady hours. It's the only job that I have that, I'm scheduled to be to work here. I have to work till then. And so I'd actually told them I was going to quit, and they offered me to only work 5 hours a week. Yeah, it's 5 hours that I have are scheduled. And so I could pick any time I wanted. I picked 7 to midnight on Wednesday nights. So I absolutely have to work those hours. And any trainings that come up, oddly enough, there are a lot of trainings, but in all honesty, a lot of them are just like video conference call type things. And I can get a lot done in the office. I can get my filing done. I can get, bills paid, things like that while I'm training. So those don't really bother me. And then what I've done with that, because that I can make more money at, it's not like a salaried position where the other jobs I get a flat amount for what I do. What I do is I've just started while Nate sleeps, while he naps. I go ahead and put him upstairs in his crib. I bring the monitor down, and I do what's called like a jump on. They basically have a help chat room you can log in, and the program that I work for, you can jump on at any time. So that's nice. If I want to work an hour, I work an hour. Nate generally sleeps for 2 hours. I work 2 hours. And I've been just periodically jumping on whenever, just to, work extra hours. And again, I don't ever feel like, because like if something's going on Monday night and I can't work, it's not a huge deal. I just save it for Tuesday or another day. Or, the other thing I love is that Paul and Nate have their their time together. I work, they play outside or whatever, and I'm making money and they're getting their time to themselves. So I feel like my main job is I'm a stay-at-home mom, and on the side I just do these other things that allow me to make money. The transcription job is not every week. It's, like for holidays and stuff like this week, there's no show because of the 4th of July holiday. That only takes me like 2 hours a week to do. Generally, that has to be done. It has to be done either Friday nights or Saturday mornings. But like when I do it is more up to me. It's not like I have to log in for a certain amount of hours or whatever. So my main thing is, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, but it's just not financially possible, you can still be a stay-at-home mom and just work a little bit on the side here and there. There are a million opportunities out there. You could be, like, I think I've talked before about, I think in that work at home video, there's so many things you can do from home. I've actually, Corky, I've been looking into maybe picking up something else. I really want to cut down on my hours for the call center. Right now, the way our finances are, I try to work 20 hours through there a week. I'm only scheduled for 5, so I just try to jump on here and there, wherever. But eventually what I'd like to do is only have those 5 hours, and that'll be all that I do through that job, because that is the job I like the least. As I get more money through like the fire station, things like that, I'm just going to gradually cut down on those. So there is an end in sight, and that's the other thing. It doesn't have to be forever. Eventually I really like my job at the fire station, so I don't ever see me not doing that. But it's a job where I can work from home and do what I want. So I can always, like, if something's going on at Nate's school, I'll always be able to do that. If he has a field trip or he's sick, something like that, I'll always be able to still be the stay-at-home mom type for him, and I love that about this. And that's, basically, when life hands you lemons, you have to find a way to make it all work. And that's what I have, and like I said, I still feel like I'm a stay-at-home mom. I feel like that's my main job. There are other things that suffer. I don't get to spend as much time like doing house stuff as I need to. But Paul has really stepped up in regards to that. Before, initially, our plan was I would just do everything around the house, the cleaning, the cooking, the laundry, all of that, and he would work, and that would be the way, and I would take care of Nate, and that would be the way it would work. But since I work, like, when Nate naps, which one is when a lot of people get stuff done, I have to kind of sacrifice a little bit of time with Nate during the day. He's got to kind of play by himself while I cook dinner or, do laundry or get a shower or whatever. I just have to kind of plan out my day a little bit more. That, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the other thing that I've been doing to save time and to have it fit into our schedule is I've been making dinner in the morning or in the afternoon, and then we would just heat it up, because I don't want to spend, once Paul gets home, and if I'm not working and nothing's going on that night and we can actually have some time together, I don't want to spend that in the kitchen cooking. So I've been meal planning and, cooking the larger quantities, so we can freeze, so we can just heat a lot of stuff up, and when I actually make a fresh meal, I make it during the day instead of at night. The good thing about that is that we are eating a lot better, I think, because it's an actual prepared meal, and I don't have to spend all night in the kitchen. I love that about it. So I just really felt like this is a video, because I think so often people feel like they either can be a stay-at-home mom or they have to work. There is a happy medium there, and I'm actually very grateful for the opportunities that I have that allow me to do that, and it's not hard to find them. Just put the word out there. I know people that clean houses and things like that, and, the other thing I'm going to say is next year, next school year, I'm actually looking into taking Nate to, a Mommy and Me class that'll meet, I think it's once a week, every month. And then that's while he's 2, and then at 3, there's a class where he will go, I think it's 3 times a week for 2 hours, and then at 4 he can go for 3 or 4 hours every day of the week. And it just kind of steps them up, getting them ready for kindergarten. It's great because he'll be able to socialize with other kids. It'll give me free time to be able to run errands or work while he's over there. And it's just, and I'm sure there's programs like that for toddlers and preschoolers. You know, look into those in your own area, but it's just another way for me to maybe make some extra money while he's doing something that's good for him too. I mean, not obviously at the 2-year-old age, because I'll be at the Mommy and Me class with him, but after that we plan on, you know, it's still not daycare, but it's just, and he's still not gone, it's just a couple hours a week to allow him to socialize with other kids and get ready for kindergarten, basically. So I hope this video is helpful, and I hope, you know, it'll help somebody realize that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can, you know, take what you've been given and make it work for you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.